Okay. Hey, everyone. Joe Doucette. I am the person who is in charge of admissions for all of the certificate programs, including obviously the fashion certificate. So if you're thinking of applying or questions about applying or are applying and have questions, you can contact me at my email, joe.doucette@massart.edu. I'll be happy to help. I'll also put that in the chat a little bit later so you have a link to it. And I'll pass it off to Brenna.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, I'm Brenna. I am the marketing coordinator for professional and continuing education at MassArt, including certificate programs, and I'll help with some of the tech today too.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Varikamp. I am the director of this fashion design certificate program, and I teach in the program. So really excited that you're here tonight, and hopefully we can answer all your questions about the program. And I guess we can, yeah, I mean, I know there's other people may be coming, but maybe I'll just give it another minute before I start. If everybody's okay, we'll just hang out for one more minute, and then I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to just give you an overview. Can everybody hear me okay? I guess if someone can just unmute and let me know that you can see me and hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to give an overview of the program. And if you can, probably because I can't see anybody right now, just you can drop questions into the chat. If you have questions that come up while I'm going through this, and we'll take questions at the end, or you can just hold your question and you can just actually say it at the end of the presentation as well. So this is an image from one of our alums from the program. This was a project from the program, actually. It's a non-textile project that one of our students at the time had done. So well, let me just back up and just talk a little bit about MassArt, because I don't know how much you know about MassArt in general, but MassArt is an independent college of art and design. It's actually the oldest and the only public college of art and design in the country. These are some statistics just about the student body. They may be a little bit different. I don't know if this is completely updated to this year, but it's approximate these numbers. 1635 undergraduates. We have a graduate program as well, and then we have continuing ed program and certificate programs like this one. So fashion itself at MassArt is one of actually the nation's oldest programs. We were established at MassArt in 1907. So we've been connected with the CFDA, which is the Council of Fashion Designers of America. We have alum working at, all different companies, brands, large, small, entrepreneurial pursuits as well, both in Boston and other areas. So the fashion design certificate program, I think we're probably in like our 20th year now, or close to it, if not there. We've been offering classes in fashion for longer than that, for much longer. But then it was developed into a full certificate program when we started to realize the demand to develop something like that for students who didn't want to go take a full undergraduate degree, but wanted to do sort of a shorter program. So the program itself consists of 10 courses, and that includes 3 elective courses that are your choices. And then the other 7 courses are 6 are required courses that we'll go into in a little bit in another slide. And then there's the portfolio class you take. So the shortest amount of time that you can complete it is in 2 years and 1 summer. And And it's designed to be kind of a part-time program that you take 2 classes a semester if you wanted to complete it in 2 years in one summer. And the classes are designed to be taught in the evening. And because this program is really specifically, we considered people taking this program who were working full-time kind of jobs during the day. So this breaks down a little bit of the required courses on the left, and then the elective, some of the elective choices on the right. So I'll just go through that. So the 6 required courses are fashion illustration, global heritage fashion and art, which is a fashion history course on a global perspective, intro to pattern drafting, intro to creative fashion, and then the advanced classes are tailoring and couture. And then, like I said, you'd end the program with taking a professional portfolio class, where you're kind of putting your work together. The 3 electives of choice of the right. So in the program, you also have a chance to kind of take electives that tailor to your interests or your goals. And I would be your advisor in the program, so I can help you with that direction too. If you're like, oh, I don't know which ones might best meet my goals. Every semester when you're getting ready to register for the next semester, I will connect with you about like making sure you're making the right choices. And if you have questions or want to chat further about that, about the courses, that's what I'm here to do as well. So we offer digital tools for fashion design, and also one which is digital tools for textile design. That's a course that focuses, on using Illustrator and Photoshop. So digital tools for fashion design is really great. Like if you're interested in working for a larger company for product development, or in any segment actually of a larger company, much of the work now is being done digitally in this way. So digital tools for textile design is a way for you to learn how to create your own textile prints, and you can actually have them printed onto fabric. So there's a few different sources where you can have that done very easily. So it's a great tool to build into, even if you have an interest in fashion design, but you can also learn how to develop your own prints and like for textiles. Sustainable fashion is a course that I actually teach. It's obviously it's focused on sustainability, which I think is sort of a critical piece now of the industry. So it's a class that you take that focuses both on the kind of theory of sustainability, what that implies in fashion design, sort of looking at the big picture, but then it's also a practical studio class where you're doing projects that are using sustainable solutions. Costume design is exactly what it says. It focuses on costume design for theater or film, that angle. Millinery is a class for making different types of hats and headwear. Handbag design is another elective. So if you're interested in accessories, you might kind of take some of those classes. Intro to clothes 3D apparel design. This is a very kind of new program being used in the industry that we felt it was important to bring into the program as well. So that's a digital program that you use to kind of, it's not just on pattern drafting, but it's a little bit about putting pattern drafting, but actually creating the garments with like a 3D avatar. It's being used a lot in the industry now towards production and communication overseas, like doing kind of virtual fits of a garment before you do a prototype in the real fabrics. Entrepreneurship for creative business. There is a business program, and that class, it's a day class, but that can be taken as well. Sometimes it falls in the night. Textile study and design is focused on, instead of the digital version of textiles, it's looking at kind of the physical, doing, handwork with textile study and design. The creative community. I think this is, for me, I've been in the program since before we started it, so it's been a long time as a certificate. And for me, this is one of the best parts about it, is the creative community. The program itself brings together just a wonderful diversity of individuals. And for someone like myself who teaches in it, like that's where the wealth of this program is. It's the students who come into it. There's really great bonds that are formed between the students, and like relationships and partnerships that extend beyond the program. And students tend to work together even when they complete the program, stay connected. So there's a really nice community that's built in the program. And a lot of times when you start the program, you're gonna be in with a cohort. Even though you may take different classes at different times, you will start to see a number of the same students in your classes. These are just some, again, kind of going back over the core curriculum. So pattern drafting, that's a basic course that everybody needs to take. These are examples from some of the classes: creative fashion, fashion illustration, tailoring, couture design, and portfolio, where you're building and putting your work together at the end. And then some of the other courses, the sustainable fashion we've been doing for a long time. I've been doing a collaboration with Eileen Fisher, the brand, in that course. Costume design, you can see they get you can get really theatrical in that as well. Handbag, millinery, entrepreneurship, and one of the digital tools classes. This is the digital tools. This is the for fashion one, even though there's textile prints in it, this is the fashion one. So the fashion one is about learning how to illustrate in the digital format, but also how to make technical flats, which are, like you see here, flat illustrations of your garments, which communicate details that would like help a manufacturer understand how things need to be made. So another thing that we offer through MassArt that I also teach in the undergrad program as well are travel courses. And ever since I've been running the courses, some of the courses, we've always tried to take certificate students on it if they want to join. So that's kind of a separate thing. But this was a recent one from last year, and there were 2 certificate students that joined this travel course. These are just some other examples of images. The one on the right in Laos, actually, one of the individuals in that was a certificate student. There were 2 people on that course too. And in India, in Ghana. So those are some examples. Alumni. So where are, a lot of times prospective students like yourselves have questions, where do people end up? And, I just want to say that obviously this is a 2-year and a summer program, right? So it's condensed. It's 10 courses. It's not a full undergraduate 4-year degree. So you're not going in depth, but the faculty you teach in the certificate program, many of us are faculty who teach in our undergrad program as well. So we really try to give you a real foundation so that you can actually go off and get an entry-level position. A lot of our alums from this have started their own startups and businesses, but people have gone in all different directions. So these are just some examples that you see here: Talbot's, J. Jill, Converse, TJX, New Balance. Essence of Australia is a bridal costume, like the ballet, the conservatory, or even film, TV. And startups, some of these names up here are all alums from us who have started their own businesses. So the other thing that's really nice about that is our alums who have started their own business, they always have a great connection back to MassArt. So there are lots of nice ways to network and get involved and connected with other alumni. And this was just one of them, Zainab Sumo. Sumo is her brand. She's based here in Boston, and she was one student who took the digital tools for textile design class and fell in love with it. And if you see all the scarves on the rack back there, she really got into printing, creating her own digital prints and then getting them printed on like all different types of fabrics for scarves. And she has a clothing line too. And then I'm going to hand this over to talk a little bit about the program costs, I think, to Joe.
Sure, I can help with that. So yeah, Jen has it laid out here pretty well. Keep in mind the first figure where it says tuitions and fees is kind of a general figure because as everyone knows, things tend to go up a little bit every year. So that total is sort of roughly what it was as of fall 22. I'd say right now it's probably closer to 18 for the entire program. So bear in mind that over the course of the 2.5 years, it probably will go up a little bit. It doesn't tend to go up a lot, but it sort of slowly creeps up from semester to semester. And financial aid is available generally in the form of loans. So you just contact financial aid about that. You can do that as you apply or after you've been accepted if you're applying. Employer funding, just tuition reimbursement is available. It depends on your employer. Obviously, you'd have to talk to them and see if they're willing to pay part or all of your program. And you would work that out with the bursar once that happens after you've been accepted. And if you want to try 2 classes first, you can do that. Generally, we advise taking the first 2 classes in the sequence or 2 classes that are very early on in the program. And you can do that just by registering through the MassArt website for CE, which is ce.massart.edu, and the general courses where it says courses and workshop under fashion. If you have questions about which classes those are, you can always contact me and I can help you with that, or you can ask Jen, she'll help you as well.
Great. I'm gonna go to the next slide. Oops. Why is it moving now? There we go. Do you want to continue with this, Joe?
Sure, that's still me. So application deadlines, this is for all applications, but right now we're in the cycle for summer and fall. So if you're interested in applying for a summer start, you would need to apply by April 15th. And for fall, it's June 15th. Right now, the application is open for both of those application deadlines. So that opened on February 1st, and it'll remain open through June 15th. So if you apply on the application, you'll see you have a choice to choose summer or fall to start. You can pick one of those and make sure it matches up with the deadline, April 15th or June 15th, depending on the semester. For the materials, pretty clear cut statement of purpose, just what you want to do in the program, introduce yourself, what are your goals, what's your plan once you're done with the program or while you're in the program. Resume is a resume, straightforward work resume. Letters of recommendation are not requirements, but they're nice to have if you can get them. We'd love to see them. And the minimum education level that we ask for to be in the program is high school diploma. So if you have high school transcripts, we'd like to see those. If you've been to college, if you've graduated college, if you have a master's, a PhD, whatever level you're at, if it's above high school and those transcripts are more easily accessible, feel free to send those instead. We just need to know that you've graduated high school. So that's the minimum that we're asking for. And the collage is a collage of images related to fashion, just whatever in fashion interests you. So we want to see what you like in the world of fashion. And the collage is pretty free form, images from magazines or from the internet or whatever, just lumped together in a collage to show us what in fashion interests you. And for support, it's me, Joe Doucette, joe.doucette@massart.edu. If you have questions about the app or anything related to it, I'll be happy to answer those. And I'm going to put into the chat just the page on the website where you can find the applications down the bottom and the green button. And I'll send it back to Jen.
Okay, that is it. We'll stop sharing, and if you have questions, we can take that now from you. And you're welcome if you have a question, you can unmute and just ask it if you'd like.
I have a question. If I took a class last summer in the fashion design department, can that carry forward even though it was before I signed up for this? Or like what's sort of the statute of limitations and like how far back a class I took
Yeah,
can
no,
count?
if you took it last summer, you definitely can get it it can come in and transfer in for it. Which class did you take? Just curious.
Handbag design. It
Oh yeah, okay.
was great.
It wasn't last summer, that was a few summers ago, right?
No, I think it was last summer.
Really? Because I don't think we offered it for a couple of summers now.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter because that would transfer in. You may have taken it the last time we had it, I think.
Okay.
It was a good class though, yeah. So that definitely
You're right.
and
I think it
you
was
know,
2 summers ago,
yeah.
actually. You're right. Time
Um,
healing
I
was,
know. Well,
yeah.
it's COVID time.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Since
everything
COVID.
becomes a blur.
Yeah.
But just so you know, that would transfer in as one of your electives. But yes, it
Okay.
would transfer in.
Thank you.
I'll just tell you a little bit. I can, if there's no questions right this moment, I'll just say a couple more things that I mentioned, I forgot to say earlier. So it doesn't need to be completed in 2 years and one summer. We have many students who actually have stretched it out a little longer than that. Like if for any number of reasons, I just can say a couple of reasons is someone got a new job and they were just kind of like feeling a little overwhelmed. So they took like one class one semester. So some people just want to stretch it out so they can stay at MassArt and take like as many different classes and they can use the studio. So there's any number of reasons why people don't finish it in 2 years in one summer. That's kind of the standard format, but you can definitely take a longer time too. And if you were going to, take one class a semester, you definitely want to get your required classes kind of out of the way because they're sequential. And what I mean by that is the tailoring, the pattern drafting and the intro to creative fashion are sort of your foundation. And then the tailoring and the couture design are the next level up. So you need to have completed those other courses first. So there is a bit of a sequence to some of the core courses.
I just want to point out one thing that I think I overlooked when I was talking about taking 2 classes before you're in the program. You can, and Megan sort of reminded me of that. You can transfer up to 6 credits into the program if you've taken classes before. So it depends on, which classes they are specifically. Most of them should transfer, but as I said, taking the ones that are more foundational is always a better idea. So yeah, 6 credits can go from your regular CE class is in fashion into the program.
So if
And
you
that's 2 classes.
take
That's 2
just
classes.
like if you wanted to take like the couple of classes to try it out, do you go through the whole same process with, no?
No, you can just go to our website and look for the fashion classes and register for them and pay for them, just like any other non-matriculated student would do.
Yeah, and one note on that, if you want to try a course, my recommendation would be, like if you want to try a course because you're considering the program, I would go with one of the required courses. So like right in the fall, the required course would be pattern drafting. In the summer, the required course is illustration. And then the spring, it's intro to creative fashion. So one of those courses are nice ones to start with because they kind of give you a good taste of the program. And if you were to apply after that, you're kind of already in sync in the program, right? Like you just be able to build off of that. I mean, you can certainly take an elective too, but if you wanted to like kind of start the program without having to start it, like if you really wanted to do it after that, doing one of the required courses just puts you right into the sequence.
Got it.
Yeah, and one sort of thing that most people don't realize, and I tell people this a lot, is that if they're interested in taking a class and they're saying, "Oh, I want to take a summer class, but I want to apply for the program and for the fall," take fashion illustration because it's only offered in the summer. So if you miss it in the summer, you're going to have to catch up with it a couple of semesters onward. So that's the thing I always recommend potential students to take that if they're going to do some summer stuff and are not in the program yet.
Any other questions? And just so you know, the class size, the class sizes are pretty small. We try to make them so that, because most of them are studio classes, that there's a good ratio of, student to faculty in those. All of our courses for the continuing ed are take place in the fashion area, which with our undergrad students. So in the evening classes, we sometimes put in electives that we don't offer in our undergrad too. So sometimes there'll be a mix of students in the class in the electives. You'll see some undergrad students in your class as well. And then sometimes you'll have students who are just taking the class like a regular continuing ed student. So it's actually really ends up being a nice mix. We try to mesh our undergrad program with our certificate program as best we can. So when there are opportunities for our undergrad students, like to volunteer for something like for Boston Fashion Week or something like that, or different things come up, we try to open that up to all of our certificate students as well. So we try to really kind of connect the two programs together. Well, I'm going to put my email in the chat as well in case there are questions that come up particular to the courses or the curriculum. You can feel free to reach out to me for that.
And I'll send out an email to anyone who signed up for the info session with this recording and some contact information, so you don't have to write it down right now.
All right, I guess if there's no other
Yeah.
questions, is it? Oh, do you see that one? Kelly, I think you must have missed the start of Zoom. So yeah, you can get that. All of that is, Joe, did you put that in there, the link to the, I think you did, right? No, maybe you didn't. To the
I
current
put the link to
programs?
the app in there.
Oh
but
yeah, I don't
we don't
even
have the
think
summer
the
courses
summer
up
one's
yet.
not out yet.
Yeah. So,
It'll be
but
up, I think Susan said next week or something, the summer
I
course.
can tell you Jackie might know for sure. Right now, the fashion classes, 3 credit ones are 1480. Summer will be a little higher, I think. Is that right, Jackie?
For non-matriculated students, it's 1480, but it's a little bit higher in the certificate program.
Yeah.
And the prices that are online right now haven't been updated. They do go up a little bit every semester, not every semester, once a year, as Joe said. So right now for the total program we were looking at, and I think Joe said like 18,000 for the whole
Yeah.
thing. So it's like more like over 1,600 for each class.
Yeah, it's about 16 something.
1,660 or something like that.
Yeah, summer is the semester everything changes. So if prices
Yeah.
are going to go up, it'll be the summer semester that they start in. So but
Okay.
if you're registering it just as a non-matric through the CE website just to test it out, the classes are a little bit less, so you're charged at the regular price for a non-matriculated student, which right now is 1480.
Do you have like a more detailed description of what's covered in each class online somewhere?
I think it's on let me see. Let me look at that link.
It's in the catalog if you,
Yeah.
Oh, in the catalog.
you
Okay.
know, at the bottom of the page, the page with the information about the certificate, you'll see
Uh-huh.
some links about, financial aid and so on. And then there's a link to, I think it's the catalog.
Yeah, I
And
linked it in the
it shows
chat.
all the,
Okay, excellent.
I'll link it again, and it's at the bottom of this page. There's a bunch of links, including
Okay.
Yeah, and if you end up having any specific questions about a course, you can always reach out to me if you want to know anything more detailed than you find.
Excellent.
Well, I hope you all will take a class or apply to the program. I mean, I continue to teach in it because I love the program. I mean, it's really the students who come into it's a really unique, it's a unique group, and it's a really fun group of people who end up being in the program. And I can't say enough about them. And I actually meant to have one of them come on here because it's always nice to hear from a student too. But yeah, it's a really nice community. So if you're looking for a good community and you want to, there's lots of great resources that we offer, but then as students to each other, there's really great resources that each person brings to the program. There are some great things I just want to say also, as resources. Let me just say this before we end too, just so you know what you do have as resources when you come to MassArt. So we do have like full studio spaces where you'll have access to all industrial machines. So obviously industrial straight stitchers, stitching machines and sergers and Mero, like a pearl edge machine. But then we also have like industrial buttonhole machines, cover stitch machines. So we have a lot of different specialized machinery too for students. You have to get trained on it, but once you're on it, the studios are open for you to use as certificate students. So on the weekends and things when there's no classes, you can come in and work. You can't leave thing in a space, but you can always go in. There's always going to be a space open. We also have a tutor who we hire who comes in twice a week to help. And that's tutors there for certificate and for our undergraduate students, just to help mainly with like pattern drafting or technical construction things. And sometimes we'll do demos too. And then the other thing I just want to say, like through MassArt is a great library, and through that we also have digital access to WGSN, which is one of the biggest trend forecasting sites. And usually you don't get that, like that's big companies usually have that. So as an institution, we have that. So you as students will have access to that as well. So there are a lot of really nice benefits to some other resources that are available within the MassArt community and in the fashion design department. We also have an archive, which is really nice. That one we have to kind of get you in, like we have a fashion archive of different garments from different time periods and different locations, designers and global pieces. So that's another thing we're trying to make more accessible to our students, and that's open to both our undergraduates and our certificate students as well.
And I had one last question.
Sure.
I don't know if you can hear me. I know you talked about, I love that the program is structured around like working professionals and being able to like adapt and learn. What I guess as far as like learning, every course is different. But as far as like being a student, what do you feel like in general the certificate program is for like the self-starter, the person who is gonna like be a little bit more self-taught, or do you think it's something that, just as you said, because it's so community-based, it's more collaborative learning?
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. And I think
Okay.
the thing about the program, it is different in that it attracts people for different reasons. So I think everybody comes in with a little bit of their own unique kind of vantage point of what they want to do. And sometimes you don't know exactly what you want to do. And you take a class and you're like, oh, I never thought about that, but maybe I want to do textile design or whatever, right? So I think that's part of it. And then you get to know other people and then you're like, oh, you like this, I like that. Like we could do something together, or you share kind of your expertise with each other. So it's intentionally supposed to be a little bit open-ended in that way that you can, like, that's where you kind of can tailor a little bit of like your elective courses to kind of shape it more towards yours. We also, like, I will say as faculty and as the advisor, like we want to support you in whatever area you want to pursue. So that's part of it too. We want to help you specialize whatever direction or figure that direction out. So in terms of being a self-starter, well, there are definitely people who come in who are that self-starter and just have like have a little business on the side, but don't really know exactly, it's self-taught, like want to figure out how to make it more professional, how to go like to that next level. We definitely have that student in the program. And then we have students who like always wanted to study fashion design for one reason or another, studied something totally different, and now want to switch or want to somehow try to do more. Maybe it's doing something on the side. Maybe it's a real career shift. Some students we have working in a fashion company, but working in another area and want to move in towards design. So it runs kind of a range. You know, I don't think there's any one particular thing. And if you're not the self-starter and you just want to, you know, just kind of gain the skills and, you know, feel like, oh, I'd like to kind of just see, maybe I could get a job. Could I get a job like at TJX or something in product development? You certainly could, you know, like, honestly, I think the people who get the most out of this are the people who take advantage of every opportunity that's there. So there's a lot you can do. And there's a lot of connections you can make. So if you're that person who really wants to do that, there's definitely support there to help you do that. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it definitely did. It definitely did. That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, well, I think you've got our contact information. Brenna said she's going to send a follow-up. So you should have answers for now, and you know how to reach out to us if you have more questions. Oh, there's someone joining. I guess we should just wait and see. Sean?
Sean will get the recording. I would hate to put so much pressure on someone.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'll send out the recording and contact information, and also I'll include the curriculum where there's more detailed descriptions of each class.
Okay. All right, Sean, because we were just wrapping up actually when you joined. So yeah, you'll get all the details and you'll see the recording. You can watch it. And if you have questions, you can reach out to any one of us.